So you want to be able to make a connection with your customer. I'm going to use my mortgage company, for example, and you can use this in any parallel. So people do, like everyone says, Dale Carnegie, people do business with people that they like or who they admire to be or aspire to be like. So you got to you have to develop a rapport and a connection before you can even start to move into the sale or start to be influential. All right. So you have to be able to make a connection with them. And that simply means that understanding their personality type. If they're a practical person, that you take things more practically, more down to earth. If they're a social person, they want to talk more and they're more social, they want to talk, then you're going to talk more with them. If they're more emotional, and you'll be able to read this on something, that's a whole other subject, but it's really understanding your customer or the counterpart so you know how to communicate with them, And so, and then the third thing is that you're going to, qualify. You want to qualify the customer. And fourth, you want to questions. Right? And then, future. We'll talk about what this is with the future. Just make sure that's right. And then solution. So, like I said, I've studied a lot of Jim Miller, Tony Robbins, some of the top closers, Grant Cardone, obviously, and basically been able to modulate and homogenize all of this information to give you one distilled, overall very powerful way on how to influence people. So, there's a ton of people that I've studied. Russell Brunson, Ty Lopez. These are all masters in their craft, and I wanted to bring this to you guys today. So, I'm going to use, like I said, my mortgage company to kind of give you an illustration example of how this would work. And so, we provide, lending here. We give people mortgages. They want to buy a house. We give them the money to be able to buy a home. And a lot of the times when they inquire, they may not qualify for the loan, right? They're very timid. They're very nervous. They don't know what to do. They've never bought a house before. It's a very cumbersome process. Can be very nerve-wracking. And so people have doubts, right? And one of the things about a great salesperson or influencer is you're going to have to overcome those objections and those doubts. You're going to have to be able to quash those if you're going to be have a very high close rate. Like I said, the average close rate for most businesses is about 20%. That's only 1 out of every 5 people that come in the door that you're going to be able to get. And what we want to do is we want to be able to quadruple that and get you to an 80% close rate. So of every 5 that come in, you can get 4 people that you can close. So in your story, you have to be able to overcome, shatter, limiting beliefs. Okay. Now, I'm gonna walk you through this, and it'll all make a lot of sense, and I'll explain it to you once we get into it and give you an example, so you can kind of see. But that's a huge and very powerful thing that you have to do. So, like today, like we had a customer that inquired for a loan, and they basically kind of give you an example, walk you through the process of how this works. So they called in, they want to buy a house, and they're very interested, and we have irresistible loan programs that have huge rewards, up to $15,000 down payment assistance, grant money to be able to buy a home. So it makes it almost a no-brainer because you can literally buy a house with no money down, get 100% financing, and we even also offer free credit repair or boost someone's credit score up. So to kind of give you an example of how this looked today, the person called in and they have a 563 credit score, and the credit requirement for the loan program is 640, and they're spending $1,500 a month, wasting that on rent, right? And they've been doing that for 3 years. They've wasted, $50,000 on rent in the last 3 years, and they haven't gotten into the housing market, which has been very hot, and because they weren't aware of it, they didn't know that they could buy a house with no money down. So the thing that when someone's calling in and you're trying to help them, or whether you're calling out, you want to be able to understand their situation. And when you're making contact with them, the first part of the process that you want to do is, ask them, hey, Mrs. Jones, this is Angelo Christian calling to get back in touch with you. You had reached out to us about getting help with buying a home, and wanted to follow up and see how we could help you, what your goals are, what information can we get over to you. So then she's telling me, yeah, I want to buy a house. I saw your advertisement on Facebook for no money down, 100% financing. I want to learn more about how it works. I'm sick and tired of renting. And so then I'm going to come in and I'm going to start my process or my pitch and say, okay, that's great. I'd love to help you out. Just a couple questions so I can better serve you. So you said that you're renting, Mrs. Jones. Tell me, how long have you been renting for? And then she says, well, I've been renting for 3 years. And then she says, well, and I said, well, how much is your rent? She says, well, it's $1,500 a month. And then I'm going to ask her, okay, wow, $1,500 a month. So that means that you've spent about $18,000 a year. I'm doing the math with my calculator that you've spent on rent, that you haven't owned a home. And she says, yeah, you're right. I've spent over $18,000 a year on rent. And I said, well, Mrs. Jones, let me ask you a question. How does that make you feel? That you've wasted, over $18,000, about, $57,000 on rent, and you have nothing to show for it. How do you feel about that? He said, well, I'm really upset about that. So I want to make a change. I'm sick and tired of throwing my money away. I'm 57 years old. I've never owned a house before, and I'm tired of it. I don't want to be in an apartment anymore. So she's giving me all of this just because I asked her that one question. How does this make you feel? He's like, I'm done. I don't want to rent anymore. My sister owns a home. My brother owns a home. My best friend owns a home. I'm the only one that doesn't own a house, and I don't know why. Okay, and so I'm taking all this information in, and then I ask her. I said, wow, you sound like you're really frustrated with it. How much longer are you willing to tolerate it? So I asked her a very powerful question right there. And I have a very calm, low DJ voice, like a late night DJ voice. And I said, how much longer are you willing to tolerate it? Right? Because I want to, now what I'm doing here is, so I got to stir up pain in them. I have to remember, people operate with pain and pleasure. She saw the ad for reward that was the pleasure, buy a home and no money down, $15,000 of assistance. Now I have to stir up the pain, because people are not going to let you into their world. They're not going to let you stir up their ecosystem unless you get in and you find the pain, and you have a wound and you get into the wound and you put pressure on it. You have to do that with your counterpart if you're going to influence them. And I asked her, so how much longer are you willing to tolerate it? And so I'm not willing to tolerate it. That's why I'm contacting you. I need help. Show me how to do it. And so now I got her where she's interested. So it's not topical anymore like a regular sales approach. I've stirred up some pain. I can hear it in her tone and her voice. She's starting to take charge and wants to learn more. So I said, okay, that's great. Let me ask you a few things so I can get this going, get you set up, and find the best program for you. So at this time, I'm doing the qualifying questions. How would you rate your credit? I have a 563 credit score, and that's one of my big concerns, Angelo, is that this program says it requires a 640 score. I don't think you can get me into the house because my score's so low, right? And I said, don't worry about that, Mrs. Jones. We got that figured out. Let me tell you a story about one of my clients I helped earlier today. She had a 553 credit score, and we boosted her up all the way to a 657, and we did that for free. While most of the credit repair companies out there are charging you thousands of dollars, we did it for free. We offer a free credit booster program for our clients in-house. We got her pre-approved today, and she's out there looking for homes right now. And she didn't even have to pay for it. It's 100% free. See, I used a story to shatter her limiting belief, right? I used a story. I didn't use logic. Oh, well, this is, we put you through this credit simulator and it analyzes your credit report and it spits out this information to the piece of software. The code tells you, hey, pay these 3 accounts down, put this one in dispute. She's not, no one's going to go for that. It's too complex. And if there's too much complexity, the person's not going to take action. You have to make it very simple for them. So we're using a story to shatter the limiting beliefs, right? Now, hey, we got your credit issue solved. You got to be a problem solver. Right? That's what Elon Musk says, that in life you get paid to the proportion of the problems that you solve. You got to solve problems. So we shatter that problem. We find out she's making $50,000 in income. She can definitely qualify to buy a house. With $50,000 in income, you can buy a $200,000 home. So we know that she qualifies, and then you want to ask more calibrated questions. And I have a whole list of them that you can download, with this presentation today. So. Some of the ones that we talked about is, how are they feeling about their current situation? We want to stir up pain. And then another question I asked her, that when she was renting, I asked her, how is this affecting you? She's like, well, I'm depressed. I'm angry. I'm upset about it. I said, well, who else is it affecting? She's like, well, I have my daughter here. She's, 14 years old, and, we share, a 1-bedroom apartment, and, I sleep on the couch. She sleeps in the room. I'd love for her to have her own bedroom. She doesn't even have her own room. So if you dig in, you find out who else is it affecting. Normally, people will do more for their loved ones than they will do for themselves. So now I have her talking about her daughter. And she's telling me that, hey, her daughter doesn't even have her own room, and she's sharing a room with her mom, and she's not happy because she doesn't even have her own room, and they feel like they're trapped, like they're in chains, because they don't have $20,000 for a down payment, and that was her other concern was that, hey, Angelo, I don't have my bank. My bank told me that I needed $20,000 down to buy a house, and I don't have that kind of money. I feel trapped. And I look at my daughter. She seems like she's sad because she wants to bring friends over. She can't bring friends over because there's no room. We don't have a backyard. We can't. I want a house that has a pool with it. I want to be able to, go hang out in the pool. I love to cook. I love to, bake. And I can't even have my family over for Christmas because the kitchen's too small. And we can't even, we barely have enough room for our dining room table. I have to have my dining room table in storage because this apartment's too small, And my rent just went up $100 this year. So it just seems like my rent's going higher, and I don't have any privacy, and I don't have anything that I can call my own. I'm 57 years old, and I don't own anything, so she's telling me, how she's feeling. I'm getting all that out. And then what I want to do is I want to summarize that. That's a huge thing, is that what you want to do with your customer is you want to be able to summarize their pain or their situation. Right? We talked about this in the last review that we did with Never Split the Difference, is you want to get them to say that's right and summarize how they feel. So, and that's exactly what I did. Is I said, so let me just get this straight, Mrs. Jones. I want to make sure I understand where you're at. You've been renting all of your life. You've never owned a home. You've been spending $17,000 a year on rent. You're not happy. You're sharing a 1-bedroom with your daughter. You're miserable with where you're at. You want to own a home. You don't know how to do it. Your bank told you need $20,000 down. You don't have the money, but you know that you want to own a home. You've been working all of your life, and you know that you're not getting any younger, that we're on borrowed time, and that you're trying to do something, and you're trying to get help, and that's why you reached out to me to have me help you. And she says, yes, Angelo, that's right. So I knew that when she says that's right, that she's committed, she's all in, right? So now I have somebody that I've been able to influence, and she's listening to me, right? And so now I have someone that is ready to go. They want to move forward with owning a house, and I've gotten them to arrive at this decision in their head. I broke through their cocoon, right? And I've stirred up pain. And that's how you're going to influence somebody to get them to take action. Is you have to break through to their bubble, and they have to come arrive at it in their own mind. You can't tell them that. You can't strong arm somebody and sell them into doing something. That's not going to work. They'll have buyer's remorse and cancel on you. You know, it's not going to work like that. And so they have to arrive at a decision in their mind. If they're telling you yes, most of the time, if they're just telling you yes, 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 it's a counterfeit yes. It's not a true yes, just to get the information out of you, just to move the story or move the pitch along. So then, one of the things another question I asked her, and this goes into, the future, is, I asked her, said, hey, listen, Mrs. Jones, I understand that you're ready to move forward, but I work with people that are, that are absolutely committed and they're ready to go. I have a very limited amount of time and I can only help so many people, and there's thousands of people that need my help. If for some reason, that we decide, not to move forward and not own a home, what does your future look like? How does your life play out in the future? Does it get better? Does it get worse? Does it stay the same? So that's another great question to ask someone when you're future pacing it. Miss Jones, in 5 years, if you decide not to really move forward, and you wake up one day and you realize that you missed this great opportunity to own a home, because right now the grant program expires at the end of the month, and you can do this now. How is that going to make you feel if you've wasted another $100,000 on rent and your life hasn't gotten any better? What's your future going to look like? What's the satisfaction in that? Are you going to be okay with living that type of life? So now I'm putting this into the future pacing to ask her how she's going to feel. And this goes back to, like I said, what Jim Miller talks about and Tony Robbins with, Charles Dickens and Scrooge, where you do the past, present, and future to have somebody see how their life's going to be affected. What they're going through in the present time, what they're going through in the future. You're going to take them to the future, and then you want to bring them back. And now you really stirred up a lot of pain in them, right? She's like, no, I don't want that for my life. I want to make a change now. I can't go on any longer and not do this anymore. It's been killing me, and I don't know what to do, Angelo. So that's where you come in with your solution right here on, well, you know what, Mrs. Jones? What if there's a way that we can get you into a home with no money down? 100% financing. You don't have to put a down payment. Just this month I've helped, 337 people get into a home. The average bank requires $13,573 for a down payment, and we did it just under $997 to move in to their brand new home. Okay? And not to mention, now you want to come in and you want to present them, like what Dan Kennedy talks about, Russell Brunson, the irresistible offer, where they can't say no, right? Let me tell you some of the things that you get with our service, with our product. So you don't have to put a down payment. That's going to save you, $13,354. You get free credit repair. We help you with that. That's going to save you $2,500. If you're going to get credit repair at Lexington Law, they're going to charge you $2,500. So I'm dollarizing the value. You get 1 month no payment free when you move into the home. Just like my client, Jenny, she didn't have to make her first mortgage payment for Christmas. So she saved $1,500 by not having to make her mortgage payment, right? You don't have to pay the closing costs. You're going to work with one of our approved realtors that's going to work with you and represent you and help you to find a home. So you don't have to spend and waste $7,000 for closing costs. Our realtor is going to help you to find your brand new home and get your closing costs included. So you don't have to worry about that, right? And one of the other things that we're going to do that we are offering for our clients for the next 50 people that we help this month, a brand new big screen 50-inch 4K Ultra TV. So you're going to get a brand new big screen TV for your home. That comes free when we help you with buying your home. That TV cost $1,187. That's coming to you free, right? And let me just remind you, Mrs. Jones, there's no application fee, there's no deposit, there's no contract today for you to apply. You don't have to give me your credit card or any of that information. So you're not locked into anything. We're going to pre-approve you and then help you to start looking for your home to buy. You're going to get an award letter, like a golden ticket to ride the ride. And that ticket's going to give you the authorization and the ability to buy a brand new home or buy an existing home or buy a foreclosure, whatever you want to do. We're going to give you the money, and even the realtor is going to be there to help you too. And you don't have to pay for the realtor services. And we're going to set it all up and get it ready for you so you can own your brand new home. How does that sound? And then that's where you want to come in and you want to do trial closes. You want to do at least 10 trial closes where you're asking someone, hey, how do you feel about that? How's that sound? What if we can get your credit score up 80 points? How do you feel about that? Yeah, I love that. You want to get them to respond with that. That'd be awesome. I'd love to get my credit score up. I just didn't know how to do it. So you want to insert those trial closes. They're very, very powerful when you're talking to somebody. And then show them all the irresistible offer, all the benefits that you're going to give them. All right, so let me just remind you everything you're going to get. No money down. That's going to save you $13,457. You don't have to pay the closing costs. That's going to save you $7,200. Free credit repair. That's going to save you $2,500. 1 month no payment. That's going to save you $1,500 right there. So that total right there comes out to $26,347 that you're going to get, and you don't have to pay anything today to get started. You pay the appraisal and the inspection at the time that you find the house. And that comes out to $997. That's your total investment into owning your new home. So you get that $26,347 in value, and it's just going to cost you. Your investment is $997. Let's keep in mind that you're investing in real estate, which is an appreciating asset. It's going to go up in value. If you look at this home that you're looking at buying 5 years ago, it was $160,000, and today it's $200,000. So it went up in value $40,000. And then you can tell them, let me tell you my story, Mrs. Jones. So let me tell you about my life. I used to have bad credit. I had a 540 credit score, and I rented an apartment in Kingwood, Texas. It was on the second story, and it was $1,350 a month in rent. I have 3 children and my wife, and it was a 2-bedroom apartment. And man, you want to talk about being frustrated and pissed off. I was the most frustrated, angry son of a bitch there was. I was spending $150 a month on a carport. I had to walk a quarter mile to take out my trash, even in the rain. We had no privacy. It was insane, walking up 2 flights of stairs with your groceries every single time. There's no life. We used to do big Christmas parties, big birthday parties. I'm a chef. I couldn't do any of that stuff because I was trapped in this apartment. I felt like my life was coming to an end, right? In my bank, Chase, they denied me for a loan. They told me I needed 20% down. And I told them I don't have 20% down. And they said that my credit sucks. They wouldn't give me a loan. So, and I ran into one of my old friends that bought a house with the USDA and got 100% financing, no money down. And he showed me how to do it. And I love the idea about owning a home. So I bought my first house, for $229,000. And I got 100% financing. I have to put any money down. All right. And I sold that house 2 months ago for $306,000, right? I made $75,000 and I didn't have to go to work for that money. Because of me owning and investing in real estate, that's what happened to me. I got my credit cleaned up. I was able to own a house and live with my family in that home for 6 years and raise my kids in that home. And it was the happiest there ever was. There was a pool in the backyard. They could play. It was such a great feeling. I felt like I accomplished so much as a man, as a human being, to give my family what they needed. Because when I want my wife and my kids to look up at me and see that they're proud of me, of their father, and I felt like I'm more accomplished as a person, as a human being, as opposed to a deadbeat living in an apartment. So I totally understand. I relate to you completely. That's why I'm here, and I'm passionate and committed to help you to get into a home, because you deserve it. And there's a way to do it. We can help you with your credit. You don't need the money down. So I've overcome and shattered their limiting beliefs. I've asked them, I've qualified them, they qualify, I've developed rapport with them, I've used stories, I future pace with them. I also showed them the solution, right? So, and I've showed them the huge value. I've dollarized the value and showed them, how much money they're gonna save by doing this. And then you want to have scarcity and urgency in your presentation too. Just so we're clear, Mrs. Jones, that this program does expire on December 31st, 2017. It will no longer be available. The first-time buyer grant, the tax credit, is going to be going away. The government's getting rid of it. So if we wait after that time frame, it's going to be gone. So next year, if you decide to hold off and you want to wait, that's fine. But then I can't help you zero down. You're going to have to come up with, over $26,000 to get into a house. So now is the time. Now is the opportunity to be able to do this if you want to move forward with it. And plus, you can always change your mind. You're not locked into anything. But we can move forward now and get you pre-approved. I can get you into the home, put you with a realtor, and then get you out there to start looking for your brand new home. How does that sound to you? So then I'm getting a commitment from her that she wants to move forward. And then, I'll even go for a no. Mrs. Jones, is it a crazy idea if we help you to get into a home? Is that such a bad idea? And I want her to say, no, of course not, Angelo. That's a great idea. Because a lot of people remember, if you get them to say yes too much, it could be that it's too counterfeit. And if they say no, then if they do say no, and when you're talking to them, then they're more likely to say yes because they're off the defensive. You've got them to say no. So now they can say yes because, no, that's not a bad idea. I like that idea. I want her to arrive at that in her mind that she thinks is a good idea. So these are very powerful things to do. And, the calibrated questions, like I said, I have a whole list of them here that you can ask. Some of the ones that I use, if you're curious, like I said, what's your current situation? How does that make you feel? Who is this affecting? How long have you been living this way? How is your life going? What does your future look like if you stay in the current situation? Who else is it affecting? What is this going to cost you? Because you got to break through to that cocoon and get them to start thinking and rattle that cage a little bit and stir up some of that pain, right? But you're doing it in a paternal preacher type way, not in a condescending way at all. Because remember, you were there too. You remember that to develop a rapport that you were in that situation too. Now you want to help them to make a bridge, right? To make a bridge to help them to get over there. Okay? You're not doing it in a downward, condescending way to them, because people are not going to respond to that if you do that. Right? You want to do it in a way where you're just like them. And now you're here to show them the way and help them to get into a home. And that's one thing that that you want to be able to do, and it's one of the mental biases that Charlie Munger talks about is, you have to come off as an authority figure, an expert. Why is this person going to listen to you, right? Well, I'm a senior mortgage professional. I've helped over 9,487 families get into a home. We help over 10,000. Our mission here at the company is to help over 10,000 families every single year to own a home. All right, we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. You see, we have hundreds of reviews on Google, Facebook, Instagram. We help thousands of people. All those clients on YouTube are real people that we've helped to get into a home. So, we're one of the largest providers of government home loan programs in the country. You're talking about all your accolades. You're working with the CEO directly. Okay, you're not working with someone just starting this business a week ago. Somebody that's helped thousands of people. You want to work with that type of doctor that's had years and years and years of experience and knows what to do. So that's what you get me. With those other companies, you get someone that is a telemarketer just answering the phone that doesn't know what's going on. They don't come with me. So you're getting Angelo Christian, an expert that can help you with getting you into your new home and getting you out of this rat race of renting. So you need to come off as the expert to your client, so that they will listen to you. If you sound like a fool, they're not going to listen to you. So anyway, these are the strategy and the process that we go through when we are influencing people, and that's what I call. I don't even call it selling, because selling is so I think so superficial, and it's not really real. You got to get to what's real. You got to get into people's emotions and connect with them. And from that you'll develop a great friendship, and they're going to refer more clients to you because you've made such a strong connection with them. So this is how we do it here. And like I said, from a lot of the studying that I've done with sales and being able to homogenize it into one distilled process with storytelling, calibrated questions, future pacing, use all this in your presentations. Whether you're selling, again, doesn't matter, cars, mortgages, pharmaceuticals, financial products. You can use this in anything and have a much higher conversion. So stop intercepting and having a low closing rate. Let's 5-10x that and get you guys to close a ton more business, so you can change your life. Because it's in the end, that's what we're trying to do, is help other people and become, reach financial prosperity. So to get to a better economic status, you're going to have to help and touch more people, and this is what this is going to do. Instead of taking 100 leads to close, 20 sales, you can close, 20 leads or 20 loans, with 30 leads, right? You don't need 100 leads. Because you're more influential now. You made a connection with people, as opposed to just BSing them and not really moving them spiritually or emotionally. And this is how you're going to do it. This is the process. So if you want to learn more, we have a great mortgage university where we teach people, we coach them. That's what we do here. That's part of my life's work, is to educate people and teach them. I hope that this was a great lesson for you guys. Like I said, we are giving away free dinner gift certificates to Saltgrass Steakhouse. And so, for the person that can answer one of the test questions, or one question that we had, during this segment today, I want to know from you, what is the type of question that you want to ask somebody when you're talking with them. So, as I mentioned it here earlier today, and so whoever responds to that, what is the type of question that you ask somebody during a presentation? And so if you chat in on the chat box there, if you're on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or whatever you're on, I want to know the type of questions that you need to ask somebody when you're taking an application with them, or you're discussing services with them or selling a product to them. What are the type of questions that you're going to ask? Whoever answers that will send you over your gift certificates to the Saltgrass Steakhouse, free dinner on me. So just respond back, and then we'll find out who you were, and we'll send those right over to you, okay? So I really appreciate you guys checking. My name's Angelo Christian. This is Learning Hub. It's one of the shows that we come out with every single week. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And we'll be back in next week with another great edition. If you have any comments, leave them down below. If there's anything that you'd like to see, I hope this was something that was great for you to learn. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much. Take care.